showing what you've been practicing, how you've been practicing it, make sure all that's correct, and then we'll move on to the second half of the heel. Do you have any questions before we get started?
Yeah, I think my only question is that Gilmore does get a little bit in front, but you can tell he is paying attention because I'll slow down just to test him and he'll slow. But like where is he supposed to be exactly? Is it okay that he's like in a little bit in front of us?
No.
No? Okay.
Yeah.
Supposed to be like right.
Not even an inch. Okay, so right shoulder to left leg. So kind of like if you guys were walking next to each other, like you'd be in parallel to each other. Same thing, and some dogs will learn to like play that little inch.
Yeah.
And that whole saying, if you give them an inch, they'll take a mile, is very true with dogs.
Right.
The tighter you get him in the heel, that's how we build towards off leash. Because if it's not super tight, then you're risking him possibly going off. Okay. But we'll go over that today.
Okay.
Any other questions?
So the turn always, right? So like if he does get in front, we slow down.
Correct.
We turn around, always turn around.
Correct. The tap and turn. Now, if like in some cases, the dog will go ahead and like an inch, and then you'll turn, and then he'll catch it. So then the owners are like, oh, well, like he gets ahead, but when I turn, he's already turning with me.
Still tap.
And yeah, you still tap, but then they're like, how do I? The dog technically is doing things correctly. That I flip it, and I'll tap first, then I'll turn. Okay, because dogs will learn to play that little inch, and they'll be ahead, and then you turn, and boom, they're spot on all of a sudden. Correct. So then I tap first, then turn to catch them off guard, so they can't beat the tap.
Yeah, that's sort of what he's doing right now. He's totally just trying to beat it.
Sure, and then if it keeps happening, it's probably most likely the number, because he's not going to want to risk playing that little inch when the number is appropriate. Okay. Other questions?
That's it.
Yeah, that's it.
Okay, so we'll start with the quick recap and review, and then we'll take it from there.
Okay.
All right, whenever you're ready.
Hey, Gilmore.
What's your number now?
At 70.
Tap, 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 tap. There you go. So yeah, I see he's distracted by something. Good. And go ahead and give a little bit more slack here. About another foot. That's good right there. Good. Yeah, something's got his. Does he like squirrels?
It's for squirrels.
He's obsessed
Gotcha.
with squirrels.
That's what I didn't see the squirrel at first, but tap, tap, tap. So let's go to 75. Good. And go and come slow down to a stop here. Yeah, so you can see how distracted he is. Okay. So what we're looking to create here. Feel. Is this kind of lineup, okay? So you see that right shoulder?
Yep.
Right on the left leg? Yep. And I'm completely relaxed. But his attention isn't so much on everything else. It's not even on me, but from his peripheral, he can see what I'm doing, and he knows, or it's the constant association of this is where I want to be. So this is the goal that you're trying to achieve. You're not going to get this kind of mindset with that going on. Just be aware of that. But it should be much better than this. Okay. So you're at 75.
Yeah.
Go ahead and give a couple of taps here, but don't do anything. Just tap, 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 tap. But you see how he's still fixated on the squirrel. Let's go to 80. Tap. And then see what he does. Tap. So now you've disengaged him from that direction, but now he's engaged with this direction, right? Give a couple of taps. Right. Now the whimpering. That whimpering doesn't mean always discomfort.
I'm so
Okay.
sorry.
No, you're fine. It doesn't mean a dog in the back. It doesn't mean discomfort. It can be frustration because he's still staring at whatever it is he wants to stare at, right?
Yeah.
So that can be more so frustration of not wanting to disengage from whatever it is that he's paying attention to, right? So it's like a kid playing video games and mom or dad's like, hey, turn that off. And they start protesting, like, no, I don't want to turn it off, right?
Yeah.
So same thing, and now he gets up, tap. See how he's still engaged? And you're at 80?
Yeah, absolutely.
85? Tap, 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 tap. Right? Now he's getting, right? Now he's trying to figure out what to do here. So that movement, but where's his brain?
Not on me right now.
Right, so let's try 88. Tap. Tap. So it's a little bit better, but he can hear whatever it is, right? One more tap here. So that movement is him trying to figure out what he's supposed to do. Tap. And I don't care what he does. I just don't want him to be engaged with everything in the environment, okay? So now that we're at 88, go ahead and try the healing exercise again. And give a bit of slack. You see that difference?
Yeah, this kind of happens when we go, like during the street walks, he's good. But when we get closer to the park, he'll start trying to play this game.
Right.
And also on things for a drive, I noticed
Go ahead and slow turn there. Tap. And slow walk here.
Slow walk.
And you're okay. Everybody does that. Good. And slow to stop. Excellent. So give a tap. Tap. That's fine right there. Okay. So he seems to have a pretty solid level of prey drive. Okay. So it's his genetics. He's a dog. And the way I look at it is you can't make him unprey driven. So it's like if a person is an artist, they're an artist, right? If a person is meant to be a doctor, they're going to be a doctor, right? So then like in the human world, if mom and dad is like, if the kid's like, I'm an artist, and then mom and dad are like, you're going to be a doctor, and the kid follows that path, they're not happy. They're an artist, right? So same thing here. He's a dog. He's got prey drive. So trying to shut down that prey drive entirely, not going to happen, okay? What you want to do is have control in these moments because it's, hey, buddy, we're in heel. And when you're in heel, this stuff should not matter to you.
Yeah.
When you're on your own time, then I could care less. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Right.
Now, the difference between 70 and 88 is on 70, he just kept going and he was really in tune to everything else, whereas here, he actually stopped with you. On the first time, he kept shooting. Did you see that?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So first, I could clearly see he was not engaged with you. So we forced the engagement through more power. And then I said, revisit the heel exercise. And then we saw that difference.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That would be your working number when you're in this kind of context.
Yeah.
Does that make sense?
Yeah.
So I always think about, like, if you see squirrels and stuff, just assume like I'm probably gonna be higher. If you wanna make it easy, just come to a stop, play with those numbers. Maybe it's 82, maybe it's 95 or whatever, and then get back to the walk.
So, like, if he's still paying attention to the heel, but he's still fixated, should I then give him the tap to focus more on me, or should I let him still fixate?
Depends on how fixated he is.
So he'll still be at like my side, but his head will be straight at the squirrel.
Yeah, so like let's say you're walking this way and he's looking that way, I correct that.
Correct that.
Okay. So I don't care if he glances and kind of, is looking around, but to be walking with you, be completely like this.
Yeah, he does that.
Yeah. We would correct
Yeah,
that.
he'll have proud chest and everything just kind of prancing around.
Sure.
Yeah, like you can tell he's in prey drive.
Yes. Okay. And the reason why we want to keep that harnessed is if it goes unaddressed, eventually that prey drive, 1, 2, 3, 4, I can't contain this anymore, 10, boom, he shoots away.
Yeah.
And if you're pushing for off-leash control, you do not want that to happen.
Yeah.
Okay. So again, I don't care that he has a thing for squirrels. I just care how intent he is when he's under command. It's not going to be 100% because of this, right? But it should be much less. And then when I say break, he can do whatever. Okay?
Is that normal for like dogs? So, like, I know he's like more prey driven, but like for squirrels, it seems like that just like triggers.
That's his thing.
Yeah.
That's him.
Yeah.
Like our cat, like he doesn't care about really.
Yeah,
Like,
no, yeah.
It's just the squirrels. It's not bird. It's literally.
Like birds, like whatever. Like we had a really strong prey drive that we were fostering.
Sure.
Everything set that thing off.
Sure.
Same with the squirrels.
Yep. No, that's why, it's like people.
Yeah.
You know, like some people like collecting shoes.
Yeah.
Some people like collecting coins, right? Like it
Go
doesn't,
big, buddy.
I don't get the shoe thing. I'm just
Yeah.
like, I wear them and I walk in them, right?
Yeah.
So it's kind of thing for dogs as well. It's just,
Okay.
he just likes squirrels. And like when it comes to like resource guarding, some dogs will resource guard against dogs, but not humans.
Yeah.
Some will guard against humans, but not dogs. Some do neither, some do both. You know, it's
Okay.
like, that's the makeup of your particular dog. And then, you know, you just make notes of it. Like, okay, he's more prey driven around squirrels, but everything else he doesn't care about. Then that's great, because then for you, you know, whenever we see squirrels, we are going to be higher, and you're already like a step ahead.
Yeah.
And everything else, you know, like we don't have to worry about it.
Yeah.
Okay. Any other questions?
No, I think that
Yeah.
all those Lincoln Park squirrels are getting you, bud.
Yeah.
Yeah, I've only had one other dog have crazy prey drive that the owner was maxed out on 127, and the dog still would not give it up. Yeah, the dog like wanted squirrels. So it was tough for the owner because she lived over here by Lincoln Park.
Yeah.
So every time she'd walk along the trail, because there's squirrels all over the place, it was like, it was a pain.
Shoot.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So let's go and swap handlers. I'll have you do the same thing, just kind of going back and forth, and then we'll move on to the healing
Slow
exercise.
down, not stop.
It is humid today.
Yes, it is.
I stepped out of my car and my glasses just fogged up. Good, and slow to stop.
So the owner is Star Wars fans? Guessing that Obi name, Obi-Wan Kenobi.
I think it's actually Obi Trice. He's
Trice?
one of, you know what I'm talking about, the rapper?
Yeah.
Because I remember way back when I first met him, and I was like going through the roll call, and I was like Obi, and then the owner was like Obi Trice, the real name, no gimmicks. I started laughing because yeah, that's the last thing I would have thought. I would have thought like you thought like Obi-Wan or whatever, but
Yeah.
pretty sure it's if I remember correctly, it's Obi Trice. So that looked good. I'm just going to give a tap here. Tap. Right there. Okay. So he was going through your legs and
Yeah.
peeking through, right? So here you have disengaged them to a degree. What did he do that shows disengagement when you tapped him? What did he do in response?
He backed up and he sat.
Correct. Okay. So like when you mentioned earlier, when he sees squirrels, he's like chest up,
Yeah.
he's parked up. That's engaged.
Okay.
Now he's still engaged, but instead of being 100% engaged or whatever, he's like 30 to 40% engaged.
Yeah.
Because you made him back away from the squirrel and put his butt down in a more passive position.
Okay.
So the next level of disengagement, if I kept that pressure on, would be he stopped staring at the squirrels and he would either look at you or start to look around at the environment and just kind of be more so nonchalant with like his like looking around. Like this guy, he says he's just laying, he like decided to lay down, he's just chilling right there.
Yeah.
He's like disengaged. He's not caring so much about what's going on in the environment, right? So he is still clearly engaged, but these are little things you want to be aware of because owners, especially when they got a dog with prey drive, they tend to excuse too many things, and the next thing you know, the dog's like lunging,
Okay.
and they're like, the dog was doing so good, and all of a sudden it just lunged, and now like look at what they're doing. I'm like, well, you missed a lot of things that led to that. Okay, so being able to read them to that degree will make life a lot easier when you're trying to kind of harness that prey drive. Okay, question so far?
I think so.
Nope. Okay, so we're gonna move on to the next part of heal. Good job with this. If you're ever struggling with anything, it almost always comes down to the number. Okay. There's usually 2 to 3 things that people do. The most common one is they're too low because they feel bad.
Yeah.
Okay. The next one is they're not slowing down, or they go back to old habits and start doing this, where they start to pull back. Okay. So your leash, I saw you had a slack, but then where he was mentally, it was working against you. So tension here creates more escalation. Okay. You intensify the behavior. So if he's anxious, nervous, fearful, aggressive, in this case prey-driven, you're escalating, or you're agitating that state of mind, and it becomes worse. Okay. So we always want to be always tap. Yeah.
Because it means sometimes they'll just straight up.
He'll
Right.
slow down at that point.
Because with the sound, like, he's associated what to do, right? But then you'll find yourself over time having to say Gilmore 100 times.
Yeah.
Whereas with the tap, because it's an aversive that he doesn't like and he wants it to stop, it's gonna, like this guy, you saw like just how well he walked with me. I give him a couple of taps to start it, but then other than that, it's like we just walk, right? Because he's had so much of that he's like, all right, I already know what I'm supposed to do and what not to do in order to avoid the tap. Okay, wait a moment, and tap again. See what he does. Tap again. Tap. Almost tap. There it is. Okay. So when you're giving that space between those taps, you're giving the brain time to process. What do I need to do? Exactly. Okay. So with e-collar, it's very nuanced. You can do like tap, 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 tap. You can do tap, tap, tap. You can do higher power, singular taps, and seeing what are you going to do to fix this.
Yeah.
And then seeing what he does. I knew he was going to put his butt down because on one of the hits, he went like this. I don't know if you saw that, where he tucked his butt in. So the thought was there. He just didn't want to give it up because this is too important to him.
Yeah.
Okay? Questions? Nope. Okay. Yep. So with Obi here, we're going to start cueing the word heel. Heel turns everything on. It's so if you go outside and you don't say anything, technically Gilmore can do whatever he wants.
Yeah.
Okay. So here we have Obi on the left side. We're going to cue the word heel first, and then we're going to move forward with our left leg. Okay. So it'd be heel, left leg. Now if he doesn't move, tap tap, or goes too slow, I tapped to speed Obi up. Good. Heel, left leg. Heel, left leg. Heel. Okay, so we're just getting in this pattern of heel, left leg. The reason for this is, in more advanced training, left leg means walk with me, right leg means don't move. Okay? So, because dogs have a wider peripheral range, so he sees this movement and he goes, okay, now we're walking again. So what I'm going to have you do is simply go through that exercise. You're going to say the word heel first, then you're going to move forward with that left leg. You're going to walk for a little bit, slow down, come to a stop.
Okay.
Did we do auto sits last class?
Yeah.
Nope. Okay. So what you're going to do once you come to a stop is, if Gilmore doesn't sit, you're lightly going to pull up so that you get some tension here, and then you're going to tap on the collar until we get this response. Once we get this response, good boy, give him a little praise, wait a moment, let your leash go slack, heel, left leg. Okay, so heel is a package of things. It means walk with me, stay with me, sit when I stop, and I'll coach you through it in case, it's a lot of steps.
Yeah, that's a lot of stuff.
Yep. So we'll start with the basic stuff. So you're going to go to just cue the word heel first,
Okay.
and then move forward with your left leg.
Heel. My turn.
Going to slow down to a stop. That's good. Now you're going to lightly grab by the handle. Yep, lightly pull up and tap. Wait a moment. Tap. Tap. Wait. Tap. And praise. Good. Okay. And heel left leg. Let your leash go slack. Good. And then you'll slow turn when you're ready. Good turn. And slow to stop when you're ready. Correct. Good job. Tip. And praise. Good boy. Good. And you're gonna repeat that 3 more times.
So if he half sits like that, because he does that when he's trying to lay down too. He half commits.
Yeah, so that's because the squirrel, like I can see like his rear end is a little bit up, right?
Yeah.
For now, we'll ignore it just so we get these concepts down.
Yeah.
And then as we progress, we'll start to like nitpick at things, okay?
Okay.
Go ahead.
He's always trying to game the system. Like to lay down, he'll quarter lay down now. Start as far as he can take it.
Once we cover that with the down, you'll be able to force the 100%. Tap. And wait a moment. Tap. 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 There. And praise. Good. 2 more. Right, good, praise. And I'm not gonna care where he sits, I just care that he sits, okay? 1 more.
Sorry.
Good, and praise. Good. Let's go and, we'll do 1 more, then we're gonna swap handlers. Good.
1 more, or should I?
Let's go and swap here. And you're gonna repeat the same process, okay?
Heel.
Good. Now here, tap and correct that. There you go. And praise again. Good. So once you put him in that position, he should maintain it, okay? Tap, tap. Wait a moment. There we go. We're gonna try 3 more.
Heel.
Let's go ahead and go down to 75. We'll do a couple more. You're pressing the bumpy one, right?
Yeah.
Okay, 2 more. Tap, good. And relax your arm, good. Right, tap. Wait a moment. Tap, 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 and relax. Good. We're gonna try 1 more.
Heel.
Tap, tap, tap. There you go. Good. We're gonna pause for a second, and we're gonna keep them in that position. Tap. Good. So, do you know why he started getting jumpy?
He was trying to resist. He was getting frustrated.
Resist and frustration. You're correct. Okay. So, like, and then he tried flight right there, where he was like
Trying
running
to
that way.
escape.
So then I said tap, tap, and then he came back around. So you just told him that's not an option, okay? Because you're really challenging that brain. I mean, he's still not wanting to give it up. You can see it right there, you know, in his posture and where he tap, tap, tap,
That squirrel's just messing with him.
tap, tap, tap. Right, and now go ahead and bump it. Right, good job. Tap, tap, tap. There you go. What's your number now? Okay. So one thing is, you can also create more intensity by rhythm.
Just like, because you're going faster there.
Correct. So it's like getting punched in the same spot repeatedly. It can become sensitive. So like if you ever find yourself in a setting where it's like you can't turn it up, that's one thing you can try to kind of imitate more power.
Okay.
It's just faster taps. So we did a couple of slow ones, and then I introduced some like tap tap tap,
Yeah.
and then he bumped it to 85, and it still wasn't working. But then tap 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 on 85 got him to reposition. So welcome to having a dog with high prey drive. So questions about this so far?
That makes sense. I think just getting the rhythm down with like starting with left foot. It's going to take some practice.
Yes. And then we're going to cover a couple more things, and I'm going to show you how you get kind of build that muscle memory. Yep. And I want you to think every time you come to a stop when you're in heel, Gilmore should automatically sit. Okay. And I don't know if you noticed, but even though he was attentive to the squirrels, on some of them he was actually looking directly at you.
Yeah.
Did you see that?
Yeah.
Because since we're at a higher power and we're like applying a lot of pressure, he's like half and half. Like even right now, he was just looking straight up at you, right? And then he re-engages with the squirrel, and then that happens. Now here, this is not realistic. He's not going to be staring at you all the time, 100% of the time, right?
Yeah.
But it's nice that he's acknowledging you with everything going on.
Yeah.
Whereas if we were still at that 70 from earlier, chances are he'd still be 100% engaged with the distractions, okay? So you can always override mental state through remote, which is why, again, it's why I love it so much, because it's simple. If the dog's very distracted, either by prey or another dog, what have you, I can override it as long as I have the appropriate collar. Okay? Questions? All right. So we're going to cover now turns. And these turns are very formal in how we do them. So we'll first start with the crossover turns, which is the turn to the left where we're crossing over Gilmore. Okay? When we do left turns, we want to cross with our right leg, like this, okay, at a sharp 90-degree angle. Some people do like a soft 45-degree cut with the right leg, and they go with the left leg. And what happens is you either run into your dog or you end up kicking your dog out. You want to make a very pronounced right step. I don't know if you saw his little head move there, because now I'm crossing into a space that he's trying to avoid colliding, which allows me to move my left leg in to then completely turn with my right leg. Okay, so I'll show you. Heel. So I'm walking here, and I want to time it so it's right, left, right. Right, left, right. Do a few more. Slow down. Right, left, right. Right, left, right. So you see how there's like I'm not having to do anything?
Yeah.
It's because he's going by my body language. Okay? So before the turns, what do you want to do?
Slow down.
Correct. So here, because it's back and forth on a small sidewalk, I didn't really have to change speed much because I'm not going very fast. But if you're going on a long walk and he's on autopilot, that slowdown is very important. Okay, and this is something that a lot of people struggle with.
Yeah.
So if it ever feels awkward or like Gilmore's not getting it, it's most likely because he didn't slow down. Because it should be that seamless, where it's just heel, and I'm walking, and it's right, left, right, and I can just keep turning in. And he's right there on my side. And if I use a little physical, I can, but he should keep in that position. Okay, so I did like 3 little loops there, but because I kept pronouncing that right leg, he's like, all right, we're just turning this way nonstop. Okay? Yep. The next one is going to be the 180 pivots going to the immediate right, which is what you have been doing for the correctional turns. Okay? But this is for when Gilmore is paying attention. So the correctional turns of just turning abruptly are always in effect when he's not paying attention, okay? But if he is paying attention and you're like, I need to go that way, and you don't have the space to cross over to do a 180, we would do this turn instead, okay? So it's gonna be heel, left leg. I wanna slow down, and then I'm gonna go left, right, left. Now we're going the opposite way. Left, right, left.
It's all about the foot moving with.
Excuse me?
It's all about the foot moving.
Correct. And you're leading with the leg, right, left, opposite to the turn. So I'm going to the right. I'm leading with my left leg. So if I do my movements correctly, right, left, right, left, right, left, left, right, left, left, right, left, right, left, right, left, and I'm leading correctly, there's no need for a remote, okay? So it's all about body language, and the reason why, this isn't because, how'd you say, Obi's had years of practice. It's because I know how to use my body language to communicate with them. So with Gilmore, as long as we have that attention, there should be no remote, okay? If he's not paying attention, then yes, you would use this to get him to focus again, but as long as those movements are correct, he should be picking up on it right away. Okay, we're gonna start with it one turn at a time. We're gonna start with those crossovers, leading with that right leg, right? So when we're turning left, we're leading with our right. When we're turning right, we're leading with our left. Okay, questions?
So crossover is left. Fast turn is right.
The pivot, correct, yeah. Which is also your correctional turn. But when you're walking with Gilmore, if he's doing well, it would be unfair to just pivot out of nowhere. Okay, so that's why we would slow down, extend that left leg to let him know, hey, we're changing directions. But if you find he's not paying attention, then you would just approach it like you normally would and just turn off and tap. Okay? Questions? Ready to try?
Yeah.
All right.
I embarrass myself here.
So you're gonna do left turns first, okay?
Yeah.
It's all right. The left turn is the hardest. If you can get the left turn, the pivot should be no problem. Okay.
Yep.
Right, left, right. Yep, and forward. Right, left, right. There you go. 3 more. Right, left, right. Now you're kind of leading with the left.
Yeah.
Have you noticed that?
Yeah.
So instead of kind of turning in with your left, keep it straight and turn in with that right.
Doing the 4
Okay.
5.
Right, there you go. Perfect. Right, excellent. Let's try 2 more like that. Perfect. 1 more. There you go, and then slow to stop. Good. All right. Questions? So now you're going to do the pivot. That's going to be the left tip. It's going to be the left, right, left, going to the immediate right. Okay? Go ahead.
Yep.
So that's a crossover.
It's a crossover.
Yeah, so you're going to your right.
Oh, from my right.
That's the left, right, left. Yeah. So that's a swing.
Is that right or no?
Mm-mm. So I'll show you. Go ahead and come to a stop. And have them sit. There you go. So what we're trying to do here is what you did with this. Okay. Now if you're making a soft right, yes, that's all you would need to do. Okay. So it, actually you can do it from a standing position just to get the idea of it is you're going to go left, right,
Oh, got it.
okay. Try it again.
So it's left.
The other way.
Right.
Yep. Left. Like that. Right. There you go. You got it. left, right, left. And you're gonna do a more straight out left, because there's still a little swing to it. Okay, so you're just stepping straight forward and going straight back on the right. So that's still the swing.
Left, straight, just swing with your right.
Oh, swing my right. Okay.
Left, right, left. There you go.
That was easy.
Right, left. Okay. Now in this next one that you do, try to make it more linear, straight, forward, and back. Left.
How awkward I am.
This is so weird to watch.
It's like learning to walk again.
It is.
Okay, go ahead and slow to stop. You're close. And the only reason why I'm being picky here is because the meaning of this turn is when you don't have the space. Okay, so go ahead and slow to stop. Yep. So I'll show you what you're doing, and I'll show you what we're trying to do. So we got the first part good. So what you're doing is you're going left, right, left, like that, right? Yeah. So you got the leg movements correct. And what we're wanting to do, left, right, left. So you should stay on like a single line. There you go. Like that. There it is.
I'll do 90, so do 480.
Correct. 180. Let's try it again. There you go. Perfect.
Almost like a correctional.
Like a.
So it's almost like a correctional term.
Yes,
like
it is correct. Except this one's more like you're communicating here, so you don't catch them off guard. You actually did it earlier, like when you did a pivot back over there when you're doing your little practice run.
Yeah.
You did it exactly like that. There you go. 2 more. And it's funny because people tend to do it naturally, but when I tell them to do it like on purpose, is when they start to screw up. There you go. And last one. Excellent. And slow to stop. Good. And relax. Very good. So what we're gonna do here before we swap is I'm gonna have you do same stuff, but you're gonna do the turns interchangeably. Okay, so I'm not gonna tell you what to do. You just go about your thing, you know, make your crossovers when you wanna cross over, make your pivots when you wanna pivot, okay? Like earlier when I was working with Obi, and I was just doing a bunch of stuff that didn't make sense, he was right there next to me because of how I was using my body language. So it should be the exact same thing for Gilmore. As long as you have that attention, there should be no issue with him catching on to these cues, okay? Whenever you're ready. Right, left, good pivot. Yep, very good. Good pivot. Just a couple more. Good, last one. Good, and slow to stop. Very good. So did you need to tap there? No. Because he was paying attention and your body language was correct. Okay, let's go and swap.
Good luck. I'm way more coordinated than I am now.
So I'll have you start first with the crossovers.
Okay.
You'll do, we'll see how they go. And then we'll get a batch of 5 down. Then we'll do the pivots. And then we'll do like the freestyle dancing. Okay?
Heel.
Good. 4 more. Good. 3 more. 2 more. Yep, last one. And slow to stop. Very good. So all those were good turns, but we forgot something.
What did we forget? Slowing down?
Yes. Now, in this setting, because it's training, he's able to do it without the slowdown.
Yeah.
But in real life, because how you practice here is essentially how you're going to apply it in real life.
Yeah.
Is I'm going to have you do another batch of 3, but making sure to slow down prior, and then going into that left turn, at least 3 steps when you slow down. Okay? You can take as long as you want, but at least 3 to give him enough time to slow with you, and to give yourself enough time to kind of visualize, is he paying attention or is he going to pass me up?
Okay. Should I do the round turns or this chart, or are we doing the short?
You're going to be doing the left turns, the crossovers. Yeah, so you're going to do 3 more of the crossovers, making sure we slow down first, and then we'll move to the pivots.
Right. Heel.
Yep, and forward. You got it. Good job. Very good. Yep, excellent. And last one. Very good, and slow to stop. So on these turns, I don't know if you saw it, but when you would slow down, he actually lagged back a bit. So when you turned, it was even more space.
Yeah.
Okay, so that's good. Now we're gonna do the pivots.
Okay.
That's the left, right, left. Going to your immediate right, the 180s.
Yep.
Same rule applies. You wanna make sure that we do slow down prior to those turns.
Okay.
Okay?
Heel.
Close. What did we forget?
So slow down. Dang it.
Everybody does it. There you go. Beautiful. Excellent. Let's try 4 more just like that. You got it. Excellent. 3 more. Good pivot. 2 more. Good change in speed. Last one.
Oh, did you say no change in speed?
No, that was a good change in speed because I saw you picked up and then you slowed down. There you go. And slow to stop. Excellent. Very good. Tap. Yeah, he's already starting to get it. You see it. Alrighty, so now we're gonna do same stuff. You're gonna use them interchangeably.
Okay.
And I liked on that second to last one, like I saw you kind of pick up the pace, so that slowdown was very obvious.
Okay.
I would also add in changes of speed, you know, and you can also add in stops if you'd like as well.
Okay, yeah, I'm gonna practice like how I would usually when we go on walks.
Sure.
Heel.
Good crossover. Good pivot. Correct. Pull to your left, tap. Good. Got a bite coming. Yep, tap left. Good job. You got it. Good job. Good crossover. A couple more. Good. One more. Tap forward, tap forward. You got it. Good. Excellent. And slow to stop. Very good. So now we're gonna do another little run, but I'm gonna shout stuff at you, okay? So you're gonna try to do them as quickly as possible after I cue you the command, but do take your time to make sure you do it correctly, okay? Heel. Pivot. No, you're right. Good. Pivot. Good. Crossover. Good. Speed up. Pivot. You got it. Crossover. 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 Straight. Pivot. You got it. Good job. Yep, pivot. Heel, slow to stop. Very good. Right? So like right there was just a bunch of nonsense.
Yeah.
But because your leg movements were correct, you got them. Okay? So heel, lock this in place here. I know, like it's gotten pretty loud. It's dog training feature, or cicadas featuring dog training, really. It's so loud. This is heel. This is the package of heel, okay? It's two parts. It's partially Gilmore being mindful of you.
Yeah.
So heel, once you cue that word heel, you're telling Gilmore, now you clock in. Okay, and everything we did last week and everything that we did this week go into effect. And technically, if you don't say heel, technically, Gilmore can do all that, wandering stuff, okay? Or if you cue the word break, which means now you're off the clock. When you cue that heel, his job to pay attention, your job to reinforce that attention, right? So if it looks like he's too distracted with the environment, and then here, if you look at him now, see how he's more up and like looking at you? Because there was a lot of remote today and a lot of remote at the working number that eventually you kind of just, it's like chipping at ice. You just pecked away at all that prey drive. So now he's a bit more attentive, like, oh, hey, you're here.
Yeah.
Okay. So if you see anything, even if it looks like a tiny little thing and you think to yourself, should I correct this? Chances are you should probably correct it. Okay.
Put a dog in it. That's the first thing.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Right. So right away you want to catch them. If it feels like, man, I'm having to turn a lot, again, it's that working number. If it feels like an argument, again, that working number.
Okay.
So today we went to as high as 88. If we were right there next to the squirrel, it might have been even higher than that, because that threshold is definitely, we're definitely over that prey drive threshold. If everything is working correctly, he's being mindful of you, and you're doing your movements correctly, speeding up, slowing down, those leg movements, Gilmore should be right there. If he's not there, if you try to do a left turn, it's funny because I'll see clients like literally, they'll go into a left turn, the dog will be passing them, and they'll like run around the dog to do the left turn. So I'm like, how did that feel? They're like, it's awkward. I'm like, so what does that tell us?
Yeah.
Dog wasn't paying attention, right? So if you slow down, you've done your job. You've let him know, hey, something's changing. He doesn't slow down, you would go into that correctional turn. Even though your intention may have been to left turn, you have to correct that, okay? Otherwise, it's gonna feel awkward. So if it ever feels awkward, it's most likely he's not paying attention, so we didn't reinforce it, or we didn't slow down, okay? What I suggest at the beginning of a walk now is you go out, give Gilmore 5 minutes, give Gilmore his break, let him do his potty business. Once that's out the way, do 5 heel to stops, 5 heel to left turns, then 5 heel to pivots, okay? And then start your walk. So you only, maybe go across a little patch like this. It's the warm up to get it in your muscle memory, because then the hard part is gonna be planning these turns when you're on an actual walk, right? Like, oh, there's a stop sign, I'm gonna turn left at the stop sign. Now you have to slow down and then plan your steps so you can make that left turn and make it as fluid as possible. Once that turn is completed, you can speed up and go back to your normal pace, okay? Questions about any of this?
Well, stupid question. Right hand turns.
Oh yeah, just like a soft right?
Yeah.
You would still lead it with your left at a 90-degree angle, but then you just keep
So same rhythm.
Same, yeah, same.
So
So
you lead and then just.
Yeah.
almost, they would be your left leg.
Your left, and then your.
So like this.
Yeah, I love left-hand turns like Ricky Bobby over here, only left.
So the right turn would be just like this. Okay? So it's that 90-degree turn, kind of like you're going to your left, but instead of going to your left, you're simply going to your right. Okay? That tends to be the hardest turn, sorry buddy, for dogs, because you're stepping right out of peripheral range.
Yeah, because like you're leading the dog when you go left.
Correct.
Like
and then when you
right.
pivot, they can see it. So going right like this, don't be surprised if Gilmore gets caught off guard. You know, you just keep going remote to catch him up. But it's actually a turn that I do once we get to long leash or off leash healing that I'll do a lot because I step right out of the peripheral range and I can force a disconnect and then remote the dog to return to my side. Okay?
Think about that, because like mostly, I was thinking about the walking door, and I always use the right to now.
Oh, right now, yeah.
I could just do reverse to the left now.
Yeah, now you have other directions. Yeah. And if you're making just a soft left, you would lead it with your right, like you would with the crossover, but then you would just keep going straight in that direction. Okay?
And like, how do you train like the break turn? Because I understand like the heel. I still associate like walking by my side with the heel as like move the heel to stop.
Correct.
So like, how do you associate break then?
So then heel beyond, good. And when I decide I want to bring, Bogey over for a break, we let this happen first.
Yeah.
Then go break, and lead him on the grass. Now we're done. Okay. So like here, he's extra cautious because I was doing more remoting. But on an actual walk with you, he's gonna differentiate that break means I can do stuff. If you see this happen, don't try to coax him because coaxing creates more attachment. I just ignore him and I'll kind of like meander and I'll walk backwards. Because if you walk like this, it's gonna default into a heel. So I'll just kind of meander a bit. And like if there's bushes, like I'll walk over to the bushes or the trees to incentivize him to go smell and stuff. And then just kind of stand there like not paying him any attention. A few minutes goes by, heel, and then we start moving again.
Like, that's always like, he'll like, won't do break, but he's still like in work mode.
Yeah.
I'm still gonna heal.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He wants to heal all the time.
So then what you can do is it's easiest when you go from sidewalk to grass because it's a differentiation in texture.
Yeah, different surface,
Yeah, is that you would say heel, you walk a little bit, stop, break, and then wait a little bit, heel, walk a little bit, stop, break, and you're just repeated like a bunch of breaks during a small walk until eventually he's like, you keep saying this word and keep bringing me to the grass. What happens if I sniff around? Oh, it's okay, and then you'll start to attach that or associate that break means my job is done. Okay. So it's very common for that issue to happen. It's a con in the sense that like if you're trying to get them to go potty, like it makes that a pain in the butt.
Yeah.
That's why I say get that done first.
Yeah.
But it's a pro because that's what prevents dogs from like just taking off. Or like earlier when the dog walked by, he didn't like really care about it because he's in that work mode. Yeah. So it prevents these other issues from happening. But then if you're trying to release them in the beginning, that's what can be a little bit of an issue. But you can just repeat that exercise. Otherwise, as you walk with them and employ the break and stuff, he will gradually pick up on the concept of break means I'm free to do with that eventually.
Okay.
Yeah. And like, so on that same note, like starting with the heel, so like he'll start leading the door. We don't want to start training him yet because he hasn't gone to bed yet.
Correct.
So should we then like take him back out after he's done his business, try the door again so he doesn't lead again?
Oh, it'll work backwards.
Yeah.
So like right now we're ignoring things in the beginning, but then once he gets the concept of break, then you can employ the heel from the get-go, and you shouldn't have that issue.
Okay, so like don't even worry about it right now.
There's some things that work in reverse. So I always care about, especially with puppies, because for puppies, if they're still potty training, you'll risk them like pottying in the hallway. So I'll tell the owner just ignore that for now, get the business out, and then once that's done, start your formal training. And eventually, once the dog gets the concept, you can feel right from the get-go, because we're not worried about hurting in the hallway, trying to correct them, because all that's been done, and we avoid the potty. Okay. Other questions?
I think just in general, like training give
Or
them
like if you
break
like
by the
ball,
line.
you know, you say break first and then maybe you throw a ball, you know, or like maybe looking at squirrels and you stop by the squirrel and you wait, have them hold for a bit,
Yeah.
break, going towards the squirrels, just to create that kind of momentum. Yeah, anything that you know he like will go for, you can use to your advantage. But you don't want to have it out already. It's more so like I cue it and then it pops out.
I just see it's a problem because like he has really good focus when he wants to focus on something.
Sure.
Like when he's focused on working, he's focused. And when he's focused on squirrels, he's focused.
Sure.
Like, he gets fixated pretty quickly, or like
I
in the,
see that.
yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. Anything else?
No, that was a good lesson.
All right. Thank you. You have your homework for the week. If anything.